So he said, Ma'bad replied to Abu Sufyan, he said, you would not want to go back and fight this Muslim. They are so furious. They are very angry. If you go back, they're like they're like the angel lions. This Muslim are like a lion who are wounded. So if you go, they would avenge the dead ones. Those that you kill among them, they would absolutely avenge them. Same word that Safwan Umayyah used, Allah put the same exact word in this man's mouth to say it. So that way the Quraysh could be scared and not go back. Allahu Akbar. So Allah used this kafir, this disbeliever, to say exact same word to frighten the Quraysh. So then Abu Sufyan said, well, I mean, we can't do anything else. We must go back. But Ikrimah kept insisting, let's go. We cannot go back. We have to go and finish up the job because we didn't do anything. We didn't achieve anything. Muhammad is not dead. Our women are not satisfied. Why we have to go back? And Safwan kept saying, no, you just heard from the man. He just left Medina. He knows exactly what was going on. So they decide to go back to Mecca. The Quraysh decide to go back to Mecca. So now, um, is it Uhud a loss or a win? Did Muslim lost Uhud? Was it a losing battle or what's the deal? Well, we could look it from a different angle. First and foremost, if you look in terms of how many people died, we all said it was a loss for Muslim because 70 Muslim die in this battle. Only 22 people died from Quraysh side. So in terms of numbers, how many people? It is a loss for Muslim. But if you look at it from a different angle, it's not a loss. Why? Because look at the goal of the Muslim. The Muslim goal in Uhud was to protect Medina because they heard that the Quraysh are coming all the way from Mecca to fight them. So they wanted to stay and protect Medina and make sure the women and the children and the elderly people are completely protected. And they went and stopped the Quraysh in Uhud, and the Quraysh could not come to Medina. So in that terms, it was not a loss, and they succeed of protecting Medina. That's another angle to look at it. So in terms of goal, the Muslim, yes, they win because they were able to protect Medina. But as for Quraysh, they did not get what they want because they want to annihilate, meaning to stop the Islamic things once and for all. And and they couldn't do that. So, and number three, the beginning, Muslim in the beginning of the war, the Muslim were winning the war as we talk about it. So in the beginning of the war, the Muslims were winning, but in the halfway, the shift changed, meaning the Quraysh started winning the war because some Muslims disobeying Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We talk about that. So in that terms, Muslim won the first part of the war, and the Quraysh won the other part of the war. So, but if you look at it, who stayed behind? Even after the war, who stayed in Uhud for 3 days was the Muslim. So obviously they're the victor because even though Quraysh felt like they won, but they're still fleeing. They fled back to Mecca, and Muslims stay in in Uhud for 3 days. You know, so when you look at it from that perspective, it's a win. So the one who stay behind, the one who stands strong, is the winner in that terms. And another way to look at it, in this entire war, the Quraysh did not catch any Muslim as a prisoner, but rather Muslim caught one man from Quraysh, and we talk about him. So Muslims were able to catch one man and execute him. And another way to look at it, um, you know, the trade, the trade route. You remember in Badr, we said the Muslim completely cut off the trade route of Quraysh because the Quraysh used to go to Syria with the caravan, up north, and that's in the winter time. But in the summertime, they would go downward, up south to Yemen. So the Muslim cut off all those routes, and so because of that, the Quraysh, economy took a hit. That's why they could not survive. That's pretty much led to Badr, and still led to Uhud. So the Quraysh could still they could not unblock the route, the trade route. They still could not do that because the Muslims still blocked the trade route for Quraysh. So that means the war was not successful. The Uhud was not successful for Quraysh because the trade route, meaning the economic route that they used to take to Syria, that route, meaning that path, was still cut. Allahu Akbar. So, and another way to look at it, according to uh, um, these scholars, he was one of the students of yeah Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawzi. Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawzi, he said, well, when you look at the Uhud was pretty much a victory for Muslim because based on the testimony of the Quraysh themselves, because Ikrimah ibn Abu Jahl said, we didn't win anything because we didn't get what we want. The Prophet was still alive and we couldn't satisfy our women. So this alone showed that, it's not a victory. Allahu Akbar. So if you look at the whole thing, Quraysh were pretty much not victorious. But what can we get as a benefit from Uhud, and how can we compare, contrast or compare Uhud to Badr? But first and foremost, one of the benefit of Badr, now we're going to compare Badr and Uhud together. One of the benefit of Badr, Allah said in Surah Al-Anfal, Allah said, ليميز الله الخبيث من الطيب ويجعل الخبيث بعضه على بعض فيركمه جميعا. الله أكبر. فيركمه جميعا. Allah said the reason Badr took place, the first war, the reason Badr took place, so that way Allah could separate the filthy one, meaning the Quraysh, those who are idolater, those who are disbeliever, those are the filthy one. So Allah, the reason Badr took place and the benefit from it, so that way Allah could separate the filth from the tayyib, the filth from the good one. So the Quraysh were the filth and the Muslim were the good. So the Badr took place so Allah could distinguish, He could separate the bad from the good. The Quraysh were the bad one and the Muslim were the good one. Okay, so the same exact word Allah used for Uhud. Same exact word. And Allah said, ما كان الله ليجعل المؤمنين على أنتم على ما أنتم عليه حتى يميز الخبيث من الطيب. Allah said, Allah would not leave the believer in the state they are in until He separate the wicked, the evildoers, from the good people, from the believers. Allahu Akbar. So when you look at it in terms of Badr, Allah separate the disbelievers from the believers. But in Uhud, the benefit from Uhud, Allah separate not the disbeliever from the believer, but the hypocrites from the believer, because the hypocrite were part of the Muslim community. Remember, in the way to Uhud, Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul was able to convince 300 of them to leave Prophet ﷺ alone. So that's what Allah meant by to separate the hypocrites from the believer, to separate the filthy hypocrite from the believer. See, that's the contrast between Badr and Uhud. In Badr, it was a war between the kufr, meaning the disbelievers, and the believers. But in this case, it was the separation between the Muslim and the hypocrites. Allahu Akbar. So, and also in Badr, Allah showed a dream to Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So Allah said, "Is yurikahumullahu fi manamik qalilan walau arakahum kathira lafashiltum wa tanaza'tum fil amr walakin Allah sallam innahu alimun bizati sudur." Allahu Akbar. Allah said, "Remember, I have shown you I have shown you in your dream few of them, meaning few of the Quraysh in your dream." So when Prophet we talk about that, when Prophet had a dream right at the night of the Badr, like we said the eve of the Badr. I mean, when he went to sleep in the nighttime, he saw a dream only a few of Quraysh. Allah showed him just few of the Quraysh army, and Allah is saying, if I have shown you the entire army of the Quraysh, like how many people were them? There were 1,000 of them. There were only 300 Muslims, but only Allah showed few to the Prophet. So that way, that could be a motivation for Muslims to fight. So they would think Quraysh are just not many, even though there were thousands. But Allah only showed Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam a few to motivate them to fight. So Allah said, if I would have shown you their exact numbers, the fashiltum, you would have been completely demoralized. You would be completely demoralized. وَتَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ, and you would start disputing in that matter. Shall we fight them or shall we not fight them? Because there are too many of them. But Allah save you from all that. وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ سَلَّمْ. Allah save you and from that. إِنَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ. Allah knows what's lay in the chest. Allah knows what's in the chest. What you're hiding in your chest, Allah knows. Allahu Akbar. And Allah used the same wording in Uhud. This is in Badr. So Allah used the same wording. Allah said, حتى إذا فشلتم وتنازعتم في الأمر وعصيتم من بعد أراكم ما تحبون. Allah Akbar. Allah said, حتى إذا فشلتم وتنازعتم, when you became lazy, and you start disputing and disobeying after of what you have seen, meaning when you see the war booty, when you see the war spoil, when you see that, you completely neglect your position, you disobey Prophet ﷺ, and you run off to pick up those war spoil. We talk about that. So once you've done that, that's when completely the war took a turn against you. So, and then Allah said, وَلَقَدْ أَفَاكُمُ اللَّهُ وَلَقَدْ أَفَا عَنْكُمْ, and Allah has forgiven you. Allah has completely forgiven you. So those who commit this mistake and those who run away in the Uhud, Allah said He has forgiven them. So one time, someone came to Uthman bin Affan and said, "Oh Uthman, we heard that you were participating in Uhud. You fought in Uhud." He said, "Yes," and he said, "So, and we heard that you flee, you run away too." And Uthman said, "Yes." He said, "Wow. So what about the ayat when Allah said those who run away turn their back, and Allah would not forgive them, and this and that?" He started quoting ayahs to Usman bin Affan. Allahu Akbar. And Usman did not say anything else but just this one. Usman said, "Walakad afa, walakad afa ankum." Usman said, "Did you read the Quran?" Allah said, "Walakad afa ankum," that Allah forgave all of them that participate on Uhud. Those who run away, those who disobey Prophet ﷺ by leaving their positions, Allah forgave all of them. Did you read that ayah in Surah Al Imran? And the man couldn't say anything. You see? So, and Allah said, "In tansurullah yansurukum wa yuthabbit aqdamakum." Allah said, if you would help Allah, Allah would help you, and He would firm you in the land. Allah Akbar. He would firm your leg, meaning He would firm you. So this is very simple. In Badr, the Sahaba, they follow Prophet ﷺ thick and thin. they obey him, all the way through. But in Uhud, they disobey him. That's exactly what was the chaos. When you look at the Badr, Sa'd ibn Mu'az, we talked about Sa'd ibn Mu'az. He was from Ansar. He was one of the chieftain in Ansar. When Prophet, called up, said that, not what should we do? Should we fight in Badr? Should we fight or not, or something? And all the Muhajirun said yes, but none of the Ansar would say anything. So till Prophet repeat that 3 times. So Sa'd ibn Mu'az, he got up, he said, "Oh Prophet, you meant us? I promise you, we would follow you whatever you go. Wherever you go, we follow you. Even if you would go to Ghamra, meaning if you go to valley or the valley or the river or whatever you go, we will follow you. We will not be like those who said to Musa, go and your Lord and fight, we'll stay here. We will not be like that. We will not tell you like what Musa people told Musa. We will follow you wherever you go." So that's Sa'd ibn Mu'az said that in Badr. But comparing to Uhud, when Prophet asked the Sahaba, should we fight? And the youngsters, we talk about that, said, yes, let's go and fight. And the leader of the hypocrite, Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, he didn't want to fight. That's why he was able to convince 300 people to leave Prophet ﷺ regiment. And he said, this is Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul said, why shall we listen to you? Meaning he's talking to Prophet ﷺ. He said, why shall we listen to you? Why you refuse to listen to us? We told you not to go fight. We told you we want to stay in Medina, but you listen to this youngster, this young people, and we are the elder one here, but you followed their decision and you want to go and fight. You didn't listen to us. Why will we go and fight? We're not going to do that. You see, in Badr, they said, yes, whatever you go, we go. In Uhud, hypocrites said, no, we're not going. So they disobeyed Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Allahu Akbar. And another comparison, when you pay attention in Badr, all the senior Quraysh that goes to Badr, that went to Badr, all the senior Quraysh that went to Badr, they all got killed. All of them. Abu Jahl, um, Umayyah ibn Khalaf, and Utbah ibn Rabi'ah, and so many of them. All those senior leaders that went to Badr, they all got killed. Comparing to Uhud, all the senior Quraysh that went to fight Prophet, in Uhud, eventually they all became Muslim. Allahu Akbar. Later on, they all became Muslim. Like Abu Sufyan is going to become Muslim. Safwan ibn Umayyah is going to become a Muslim. Even Ikrim ibn Abu Jahl is going to become a Muslim. Allahu Akbar. Even the one who caused all this trouble, Khalid ibn Walid, he's going to become a Muslim also. See, that what a comparison. Allahu Akbar. And so, so what is the victory? Victory is not granted just because you're a Muslim. If you pay attention, so in this war, Muslim did not get clear victories or whatever. They at some point they get some loss because they lost people. So just because you're a prophet or just because you're a Muslim, it doesn't guarantee you always the victory, because sometimes Allah would afflict His servant with trial and tribulation. Sometimes you go through a tough time, Allah would test you and give you a hard time, so you could derive lesson from it. So it's not always get good or always get bad. So it's mixed. That's part of the iman. That's part of the trial. That's part of the testing in this life. So when you look at the number one benefit or the moral of Uhud is the cause of the humiliations and defeat is to disobey, meaning the cause of humiliation and defeat that Muslims received was nothing but disobeying Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They disobey Allah, they disobey the Messenger. That's the primary reason why they lost in Uhud, and 70 people became shaheed. Allahu Akbar. So there is a hadith in Sahih Bukhari, and this hadith is narrated by Utbah ibn Amir. Utbah ibn Amir said, after 8 years of Uhud, meaning this is the same year that Prophet ﷺ passed away. He said, after the 8 years of Uhud, Prophet ﷺ stood in his minbar and he gave a khutbah, and he started making dua for people of Uhud. After 8 years passed already, he made dua for them, and he said, I will be the witness in the day of resurrection in front of Allah in your case. The Prophet is saying, oh, people of Uhud who passed away from Uhud, I will be the witness in front of Allah in your case, meaning I will defend your case right in front of Allah. And he said, our meeting point, I would meet you guys right at the fountain, meaning the Hawda. The Hawda Prophet, meaning some people Al Kawsar, like Inna A'taynak Al Kawsar, fasalli li rabbika wanhar. Kawsar is like a river, or it's like a Hawd, like or lake or river, in which Allah gave to Prophet ﷺ in the day of resurrection. So Muslim would come and drink from it. May Allah make us among those who would drink from Hawda. And Prophet would give us, um, a, a cup to drink from it, inshallah. So Prophet saying, my meeting place with you, people of Uhud, we are going to meet up in the Hawda, meaning in the Kawthar. And he prayed for them, and give his farewell. It is as if Prophet said, very soon I'm about to pass away and I'm going to meet you guys, Yawm al-Qiyamah. But the all Sahaba, none of them pay attention. They didn't think it was the last speech. And this man who even narrated this hadith, Utbah ibn Amir, he said, this was my last time seeing Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam on the minbar giving khutbah. That was the last time I ever saw him giving khutbah in the minbar, because after that he passed away. Allahu Akbar. So inshallah, this would conclude Uhud. So our next video, we'll talk about the aftermath of Uhud and what transpired. And we're also going to talk about two great events that took place right after Uhud. Some massacre that took place against Muslim. It was a tragedy. Inshallah, we're going to talk about those in details in our next video. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.